those little canals. You see a bottom finder, and I need a way to find my way back out. Don't look like a problem to me. Right.
Dude, get that in there.
Oh.
No doubt about that.
None, man, none.
Look at that, dude. Look how much she had again.
Huh.
Seriously, check that out, dude. That's 5 and 6. That might be 6 pounder right there. That's a long
Oh, that's
fish,
big than
dude.
6, Mike. Yeah.
6 and change.
Yeah.
I always underestimate that big girl. You Captain Shane, son. Bringing a good luck to the boat.
Nice fish. That was cool, Mike. You brought him out of some heavy crap.
You see that hole where she came out of?
Well, I guess that's the hole right there, right?
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
There's a little thinner back there, too. Hey, good. I don't mean to do this to you, but we'll finish this stretch.
Yeah.
We're not fishing this again, dude. I need stuff. Never seen this much like over down.
God, Mike. No. And so that night, I took my debit card out, I got online. I already knew where he was getting his stuff. Damn, Mike. Good job, buddy. Nice, man.
Hey guys, me and Captain Shane had an absolute blast. He is one cool dude, man. I dig him. He is a good guy and he knows how to fish and he was just fun. We had a good time, dude. I'm a little frustrated with myself though because I kind of lost him a giant fish. In the morning we were throwing some moving baits and he knocked an absolute slouch on a spinnerbait and I didn't get the boat back there fast enough to get her out. She got wrapped up and popped off, but it was big, man. It just made this huge boil. And what really sucks is he was in the back of the boat, so I have no video footage of it. So, sorry about that, Captain Shane. I was a big fish, man. We'll have to get out and get another one. But we ended up doing quite a bit of flipping, which was kind of the goal for the day. And we got into some fish on some pennywort mats, some floating mats, as well as some hydrilla mats. Actually got into quite a few fish on some hydrilla mats. And knocked off a couple good ones. Got about a 7 and change and a 6 and change. Sadly though, Captain Shane got some bites, but I couldn't get him connected to get a fish to the boat. It is a little different deal when you're flipping mats. It has a different feel. The bites have a different feel. The fish kind of hit it a little weird, and they were definitely biting weird. you know, that day it was kind of a pumping bite. It was definitely a little weird. He got some bites and started getting the hang of it, but just couldn't close the deal, and that's my fault. But we'll definitely be doing it again. So we're gonna get him those big bites on the big stick. But a lot of you guys send me some comments and messages asking what my setup is for flipping. And flipping's kind of a big picture for me. There's a lot of different kind of flipping, and I have different setups or different specs on what I'm using for each type. I'll have something for like emergent vegetation. I'll have something for if I'm flipping wood or bushes. And in the vid, we're flipping mats, floating vegetation, canopied hydrilla, you know, rolled hydrilla mats, those kind of deal. Mats, basically. Punching, I guess, is what a lot of guys call it. So I wanted to take the opportunity to show you and tell you why I use the setup that I do. What I have right here, this is a 7'10" Bass Pro Shops Extreme rod. It's a heavy action. It's actually a little more heavy duty than their average 7'6", like all around flipping rod. It's a little beefier. It is a little heavy weight wise, but it's a reasonable price, and it takes a beating, and I put it through quite a bit. I have a Shimano Corrado on here. It's spooled up with 65-pound Power Pro. Just one little note that kind of gets confusing. The Corrados I use are the 200Es. They don't make them anymore. Shimano changed their, I guess, their lines and their models. The equivalent reel to this right now is the Chronarch. It's kind of an expensive deal, but I've had some really terrible experiences with cheaper reels, and especially doing this kind of fishing, you're gonna get smaller bites, but you're gonna get some big bites, and the last thing you want to happen is to have your equipment fail when you're sitting there staring at an 8 or 9 pound fish. It'll break your heart 3 times over because it's your own damn fault when it comes down to it. One other quick note about the rod. I mentioned that it's a 7'10", so it's a pretty long rod. I like a longer rod for mat flipping because you need that extra little bit of leverage to pop fish out, especially when you're dealing with mats that are situated way back in the vegetation. But once again, the reel, Shimano Corrado 200E, the rod, a Bass Pro Shops Extreme Series, 7'10". And what we were flipping that day was pretty standard. We were flipping 1.5 ounce tungsten weights, using bobber stoppers to stop the weight from sliding around. And we were using, I got some new hooks that I'm kind of liking, and what they are, they're Strike King Hack-Attack straight shanks, and they're sweet hooks. First of all, they're super wide gauge, they're real heavy duty, and the other trick is they're a little shorter. And you might say, well, wouldn't you want a longer hook, you know, just in case they're shore biting it? And actually you don't, because what ends up happening, if you have a longer hook, it doesn't fit the bait. And oftentimes when it comes to mats, you're flipping tinier beavers like this, BB crickets. You're not flipping gigantic baits. You'll flip bigger stuff, but not huge stuff. So you don't want that huge long hook because it doesn't end up situating itself in the meat of the bait, and it pops out quite a bit. But that's the setup we were using. I actually got a punch skirt on here. We didn't do the punch skirt. The bite seemed to be real good on a straight plastic. But as I mentioned in the other video, it's real easy with this kind of a setup and with these D&M Custom Baits punch skirts, where I can just pop my bait off if I'm not getting bit on the punch skirt and slide that punch skirt right off. And I can reset myself up and I'm good to go, just like that. But that's pretty much the standard mat thing that I use, the mat setup that I use. One thing to note too is I do have 2 mat sticks. When there's a mat bite, I always have 2 mat sticks out here, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, when you're talking about catching bigger fish, details matter. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is sometimes I'll come out with a 1.5 and a 2 ounce because I'm going to run into vegetation where I can't get through with a 1.5, and I'm going to have to bump up to that 2 ounce. Another little thing would be sometimes I'll run 2 1.5s on each rod, not 2, but a 1.5 on each rod, and I'll run a punch skirt on one rod and a straight plastic on another, just to sort of pick up on any kind of nuance in that bite, so I can get those 1 or 2 extra better bites that are really gonna, you know, make it pay at the end of the day. And the other reason too is it's always good to have a backup. When you're doing any kind of heavy cover related fishing, stuff breaks. Like dude, I'm the king of breaking stuff at the wrong time. And it's terrible when you're in a situation when you know there's fish right in front of you and you got to retie. And what that allows you to do is if you do break yourself off, you can put down that one rod and go to your next rod. There's no mental issues. There's no, breaking of the confidence, breaking of that pattern, that zone that you're in, and you can keep that flow going. And that's really important in fishing. Fishing's like any other sport. It's all up here, man. You win and you lose up here. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's in your own head, man. All in your own head. But that's a general setup that I'm going to use for mats. A 710 Bass Pro Shops Extreme rod with a Corrado 200E. I'm running 65-pound Power Pro. I will go up to 80 at some points, but I have to have a good reason because the 80 gets a little tough to manage from time to time. But standard 1.5. I do try to lighten up from time to time, but in general, a 1.5 will get me through just about anything, and they'll eat it. You got nothing to worry about. That weight doesn't matter to them. When they're under those mats, they eat. That's the setup. Enjoy the clips, and had a blast with Captain Shane. He's one cool dude. Shout out to him, alright? Tight lines, guys.
Sucker was buried.
Well, you ate it though, dude. They freaking dropped on it. I'm all fancy like a little baby. Dude, this little mat.
You get on tank. Oh, get the net, get the net. Get that net, dude. Holy moly, Mike. That's the biggest bass I've seen in a long time.
Dude, she didn't even do nothing.
Holy moly.
That's about a 7-8 pounder right there, dude. She's so pre-spawn, she doesn't even know it, man. Look how skinny that fish is. Dude, that's freaking sweet. Dude, she didn't even move. Look at that boulder. That's a fucking 7-8 pounder right there, big one.
Let me get the plastic off. 1, 2, 3.
Check that chunk, baby. Look at that. That's a nice freaking 7. She's not too happy. I'm gonna get her back real quick.